The first race of the 2015 AARO Racing Series season would be at the Livonia Raceway for the infamous Livonia 250. Here's some qualifying race footage. As we see a giant wreck between Jack Jefferson, Ike Durbin, Ted Hendricks, and Sebastian Morris in the 5 as Durbin goes flying through the air in a very unfortunate wreck. No word on any of these drivers' medical conditions as of yet. Obviously, none of them made the race against Sebastian Morris's number 5 car right now as he takes a very hard hit into that pit wall. Jack Jefferson gets a hard hit as well. Mario Lancer in the 27 also involved. And just a very scary and unfortunate wreck into the pit wall. And that's something that has been questioned as dangerous on this racetrack, and I'm sure we'll see improvements made in the future for that. The AAA pole award for this race would be going to Todd Bradshaw, the number 98, won the pole here last year as well, and would lead the field down to the green. Chad Lipinski to his outside. Sean Glossum and Michael Carter, two JN Motorsports teammates, start 3rd and 4th, and then Casey Lester, 3rd in the championship standings last year, starts in the 5th position. Down the back straightaway, it looks like the 98 car has a pretty solid lead heading into turn number 3. Sean Glossum is going to slide into 2nd, and Chad Lipinski is falling back fairly quickly in that Ask.com Buick. Here's Justin Pisani, the winner of the shootout just not a week ago, and at his home racetrack, obviously looking to make the sweep and be the first one to do that ever. So Justin Pisani is number 16, JN Motorsports Dodge, started in the middle of the pack, moving his way up through the field fairly quickly, and is now in the top 5 as you see Sean Glossum, his teammate, going to the lead past Todd Bradshaw's number 98, and Casey Lester is going to follow on through with Nate Smith behind him. Two rivals, Lester and Smith, 2nd and 3rd in the championship standings last season, and Lester is going to get some help from Smith as they go by the number 9 of Sean Glossum. Smith's going to move to the outside and relinquish the 3rd position to Justin Pisani, and Will Legge also up there in the 5th position as well. A couple laps later, here's Pisani going for the lead underneath Casey Lester, and it looks like the 15 of Will Legge is going to follow underneath as well. Grant Jacobs sitting in now what will be 3rd. Mac DiCario will slot into 4th, last year's champion, and sporting a new McDonald's paint scheme on that Buick Regal for Sam Davids Racing, and he is obviously off to a good start in this one, as here he is just 2 laps later going for the lead on Justin Pisani. Lap number 11, Nick Black has slotted into 3rd, Casey Lester sits 4th, and they're going to battle as well, and the 96 car is going to clear Pisani as looks like Pisani got through that corner really bad as he looks like he's going to fall back maybe to about the 7th position, and we see the battle for the lead continuing to rage on as Casey Lester has taken that spot officially from Mac DiCario. Trouble in the back though is looks like Ricardo Blanco got some contact after Scranton and Walter got together, and this is going to send Ricardo Blanco all the way to the back of the field, and I don't really know what happened there. It looked like the 26 got into the 18 of Chad Lipinski, and they got into Walter and Blanco. It's a miracle they saved it, and obviously Blanco not having the start he had to his season as he did last year as he ran up front all race. Here's an interesting story as Michael Carter gets dumped by his teammate Justin Pisani into the outside wall, and Carter will drop all the way to the back. He was running in the top 5, and his teammate just got a little too aggressive, and he goes down into Herb Cilantro, and there's going to be some fireworks at JN Motorsports this week as we go on board Pisani here, and just a little too aggressive too early in this race. Luckily they didn't wreck, and yeah, this is going to set up quite an interesting battle and story at that team's race shop. But speaking of that team, here's one of their drivers, Sean Glossum, taking the lead, and then Jonathan Ringer, who has basically owned this track over the last couple of years, will take the lead on lap number 27. Still has yet to win here, but Jonathan Ringer led the most laps here last year, and he's looking to do that once again, but hopefully for him get the W at today's Livonia 250 as he will slot into 1st place. Nate Smith looking for 2nd on Sean Glossum. Here is what we have on the racetrack right now as we have 2 separate packs after those incidents that we had. They kind of separated the field, and there you see Michael Carter, just very unfortunate for him, and I'm sure he's not happy about that. Sean Glossum obviously moved over from the 09 from Kenny Gerald's Incorporated to JN Motorsports this year. He's having a solid first race with them. Was contact in the back between Hensler and Black. And we see Tommy Richer going for second in that number 2 car. Here is Brad Curtis's number 12, the rookie this year, and he won he won an AAPT title, and it looks like his car has dropped a cylinder or something, and that car down on the apron, and he will make a pit stop, and that is just a very tough start to his season, very tough start to his AARS career. He's made a couple one-off starts, but Brad Curtis obviously not having the debut he'd like in the number 12 car for his rookie season, and we're getting word that yes, it is a dropped cylinder on the number 12 K&N Dodge. The leaders have caught Michael Carter, and it looks like Ringer and Richer will lead the field around him. 0, 2, and 1 in the top 3, and that's Alex Yates' number 1 car, who ran strong all last year. In third, caution 1 is going to fly on lap 62, debris in turn number 3, and the pace car will merge right up into the field. Under this caution, we have pit stops, and basically the entire field will come in to get service done on their cars. As you see, just the whole field is spread out. But off the pit road, it looks like strategy will play into it a little bit, or maybe just a faster pit crew, as Sean Glossum comes out in the top position. As you see, the rest of the field fans out of the pit lane, and we'll get ready to restart this one after our debris caution. And here we go, as we see the 12 car of Brad Curtis, obviously very slow on the racetrack, getting word that he's just barely meeting minimum speed. And obviously this is not good for everybody in the field, especially for the guys up front if they catch him a lap down. And this stacks up the field behind him. It's going to separate the pack once again, and it's definitely setting up quite an interesting pack, as the 12 car really held up that bottom line. Michael Carter also holding them up, but he's moved out of the way safely in that number 39. And 12 car still having trouble getting out of the way of Cody Lochner's number 34, as we see the battle for the lead between Alex Yates and Sean Glossum. Yates had quite a solid year in the 1 car, very up and down, but he was a force almost every race, and he's looking to do the same in 2015. Remember that Bristol race he should have won, but got caught up in an accident while leading. Jonathan Ringer back to the lead with his teammate Todd Bradshaw, our pole sitter, right behind him. Op Inc. has been very strong at this racetrack, like I said before, and they're proving it right now, as here goes Bradshaw underneath his teammate side by side for the lead, as we see smoke and we see a spin on lap 72. Keith Davis goes around Jared Cash into the pit wall up in front of the field, and somehow does not hit anybody. Goes hard into the outside wall. Looks like Carson Crompton got into Grant Jacobs, who started this whole thing, and wow, 09 car just merges right up in front of the field, hard into that outside wall. Luckily didn't collect anyone else. That had potential to be a race changer right there, but thank God he did not hit anybody. Keith Davis actually got the least of this, as he spun around and kept going, losing only a couple positions. But that would be enough to bring up the caution. Lap 77, we'd have a restart, and we see the 12 car obviously slow on that inside line. His teammate Brian Hensler going for second on Todd Bradshaw, as Michael Carter continues to kind of hold up Jonathan Ringer, and Ringer was not happy. Ringer was furious on the radio with Michael Carter. Lap cars are supposed to be getting out of the way, but Michael Carter obviously only 1 lap down, trying to get that lap back, and the Amp Energy Dodge not backing down, and this would allow Tommy Richard's number 2 car to take the lead away. Tommy Richard did not have that good of a year last year, but he missed several races, but this year obviously looking much better, and he is in the lead, as we see 3 JN Motorsports cars behind him. Here's Jonathan Ringer showing his displeasure with the 39, eventually using the bumper on him, and again, not very happy with Michael Carter. Justin Pisani has taken the lead away from Tommy Richer, and the Verizon Dodge back to the front. Finished 4th in the standings last year, and only led a couple of laps, as he never led a single lap until the last race of the season at Saskatchewan. Getting that out of the way early in this season, that was a monkey on his back the entire season. He said it was a giant distraction. He would lose the lead right here, but definitely something to get off his back early here at Livonia. They've caught Brad Curtis in the 12, and that really screws up Mac DeCario. Jason Miller with a bold move to the inside, going 3 wide with his teammate Brian Hensler in there as well. And they are second and third as Bradshaw gained a pretty big lead on that little mistake by Curtis. That is not the only mistake Curtis is going to make. Lap 92, and it looks like he got into Lester a bit there, and they save it. And another scare, as Lester really hasn't done much this race, running solidly in the top 15, and that could have ended his race right there. DeCario in the lead, and he has Carson Crompton all over him. Crompton was doing very well here last season, and then blew the engine, and that would be the end of his race. But he is running in the top position now as he passes 2014 champion Mac DeCario, with help from another JM Motorsports driver, Jimmy Cohone, who moved over from the Porter Racing team this season. At 102, we're looking at the 7 of Jason Miller, who looks like he has an issue, and he does. Pulls to the inside, holds up the entire field behind it. Looks like a caution out there. Bunches up the entire field. Miller would retire with a camshaft issue, and that's a tough break for the 17, who had a solid second half to the last season, won at Miami, and he was having a solid run here so far. Done for the day in that number 7 Monster Energy Dodge. Battle for the lead is heating up once again. Jimmy Cohone and Carson Crompton side by side. Jonathan Ringer's number 0 car looking now underneath the 36 car. Jeff Parshall in the 46 moved over from Skulls Racing to Carson Racing this year. Jeff Parshall running in the 3rd position in that 46 car. Very surprising to see him up there, but very solid run for the Canadian Tire Volkswagen. Volkswagen obviously being a new manufacturer in this series this year, and proving well as the 46 and the 38 are up there in the top 10 along with the 84 of Carson Crompton. Very strong showing from Jeff Parshall in the 46. They've caught Brad Curtis once again, and this is going to cause trouble for everybody up front. Ringer into the wall, and Parshall down into the pits, and we're going to have to get another look at this one. Lap 112, no caution would fly. Parshall into the pits, into the inside wall, hard into that pit wall. And the 46 done for the race after a very strong showing. Oh man, this is very unfortunate for him and that whole team, as they were looking for a good result. Ross Lowry in this race not running nearly as well. That's his teammate, and the 46 hard into that wall, done for the race. Very upset with Brad Curtis, as everybody was. And Jeff Parshall, that's a day gone bad right there, and he would retire back in the 40th position. Here's Carson Crompton trying to avoid Curtis as he gets into Chad Lipinski, and this little side damage they got from that would actually slow them down pretty significantly. And Brad Curtis obviously not making a ton of friends out there in his first race with Silver Green Racing's number 12 team. Tyler Defer, pole sitter for the AAA Shootout, will go to the lead looking for his first career win underneath Jonathan Ringer. Another guy looking for his first career win, Josh Mertz, who joined Smith Motorsports this season, would now look under him. That's the 8 Red Bull Volkswagen. Has his teammate Nick Black right behind him in the 38 car, and Josh Mertz goes to the lead looking for his first career win. Nick Black won last season at Seattle. Here's Mac DeCario taking the lead right back. Ricardo Blanco, after that scare earlier, has made his way up to the 2nd position now as he passes Josh Mertz. Great run for Ricardo Blanco. Solid showing here last year, and backing it up so far as we see trouble on the racetrack. The 84 of Carson Crompton. Left rear tire blown on that car after the contact with the wall. And the van's Volkswagen and will slow down on the back straightaway. Caution is out on lap 125. And he'll actually come to rest. He had to be towed. Would lose a couple laps, but would continue on in that number 84. As we see Herb Cilantro has problems with his car. Will Legge plows into him, and Alan Reeds gets in there as well. What? What just happened? Herb Cilantro, something went wrong on that car, dropped to the inside, and Will Legge has nowhere to go. Neither does Alan Reeds. Plows into the back of the 42. Very tough break for those guys. Man, I just feel for them. They were having solid runs, had dropped to the back for a little while, but we saw both of those cars up at the front. Herb Cilantro not nearly as much, but the 15 car, 42, and the 19 all done for the race. And just a very unfortunate yet very scary wreck as well. And those 3, obviously, like I said, done for the day. as we're on board Alan Reeds as he takes his car into the pits. The rest of the field under the yellow would bring their cars into the pits, and it looks like Mac DiCario, Josh Mertz, all those guys, everybody comes in, nobody taking some strategy and staying on the track, but Mac DiCario would continue to lead off the pit road and would lead the field down to the green. Brad Curtis, this is a recipe for disaster, starting it on the front row on the restart, and he's holding up the two other lap cars, and surprisingly does not hold up anybody else. Very clean restart. Nick Black in the 38 has gone to the lead, passing Mac DiCario's number 96 McDonald's Buick, and would bring a couple cars with him. That's Jimmy Cohone in the 36, Josh Mertz in the 8, and Tyler Diefer in the 20 car. A couple guys in the front that you really wouldn't expect to be up there so far, along with the guys that you really would expect, like Mac DiCario. Josh Mertz, solid run in that number 8 car, running 5th right now. Really did not expect to see much of him this race. Most people did not really expect Jimmy Cohen's number 36 to be up there as well. Talking about how the 36 car has been cursed over the last couple of years. Every driver that's stepped into there has had a miserable season, but Jimmy Cohen trying to break that this season. He's having a solid start to that, running in the 6th position as we see the battle for the lead between two Renesi Racing cars, 34 of Cody Lochner and the 20 of Tyler Diefer. Both looking for their first career win, surprisingly. Diefer, most people do not know that he has not won a single race in his career, and he's up there battling in the top 5 with a couple other guys that are hungry for that first career win, as Mac DiCario goes back to the lead, also looking for that first career win. DiCario won the championship last year without getting a single win. Here he is getting passed for the lead, though, on lap number 160, and it's Justin Bazzani once again, who disappeared for a while, back up to the front, and would secure that spot, looking to sweep the weekend at his home track, Livonia Raceway. Here is Nick Black trying to ruin that for him as he goes to the inside of the 16 and the 38 car. He drove the 22 last season, won at Seattle, had a lot of second place finishes, and he's backing that strong 2014, showing up with a strong run in the first race of the season here at Livonia. Lochner back to the lead, his teammate Diefer following him. That's Renesi Racing 1-2, and then we see behind these 3 cars a wild pack behind them, 4th on back, as we see these 3 continuing to trade spots. Renesi Racing 1-2, and they've really not had much to show for here at Livonia. Here is Jonathan Ringer, led the most laps in this race. He's already secured that those bonus points for that. He's running in the 20th position right now in that number 0 car, getting passed by Luke Kinzen, and not really what he wanted in this race, but he was everybody's favorite to win, and he's not running as well as he would have liked, as we see Brad Curtis causing more issues for the guys at the front. This allows Tyler Diefer to get around his teammate. His teammate Cody Lochner is going to get held up massively by the 12 car, and yeah, that's very tough for the 34. He drops out of the top 10 for now. Lap 183, battle for the lead rages on once again as we caught up to more lap traffic. That's Bethany Baltano in the 48 and the 18 of Chad Lipinski, and this is going to allow Mac DiCario to take the lead. Diefer slots into 3rd, Black in 2nd. Curtis once again getting run up on a couple laps later, and the 96 powers on the outside as the 12 holds up that inside line. Mac DiCario out to a giant lead now with just over 10 laps to go, and this is going to be tough for the rest of the pack to catch up for him, as the 96 has been strong all race. They would, though, and here comes Tyler Diefer to the inside in turn number 3 with 5 laps to go, and he would take that spot away with help from Justin Pisani. Can Pisani do anything now with Tyler Diefer? Here he is looking to the inside, down into turn number 1. Who's it going to be? And it looks like they're side by side off turn number 2. Tyler Diefer and Justin Pisani. And Diefer powers off the corner. Great horsepower from the number 20 car. And he would hold on to the lead in turn number 3 as we're getting ready to cross the line for 4 laps to go in the Livonia 250. And it looks like the 83 car has lost... I think he's out of gas. 83 car. Nate Smith out of gas. Fuel strategy might play into this one. Nate Smith, the first car in after he runs out of fuel. Todd Bradshaw, the next lap, is into the pits. Tough break for him. He was running in the top 5. Smith was running in the top 10. And this sets up quite an interesting finish here as more cars are in for fuel. and we're not really sure who can make it all the way. These last couple laps are going to be very interesting if the leaders cannot make it. Here's Tyler Diefer and Justin Bazzani crossing the line. Final lap for Tyler Diefer. Can he hold up Justin Bazzani? Down into turn number 1. Bazzani looked to the inside, cannot get it done. Through 1 and 2. Looks like Diefer's got the advantage. Down into turn number 3. Who's it going to be? Diefer still has a solid lead on the 16, a little bit high in the corners. Bazzani looking to the inside. Off turn number 4, it's going to be Tyler Diefer winning the Livonia 250, his first career win. And the 20 car holds off the 16 and 96 to take his first career win. That's 2 champions right behind him. And Tyler Diefer holds on for the victory in the Livonia 250. What a race, what a victory by Tyler Diefer. Saves enough fuel, a lot of these guys did, and he would hold on to the victory, and he does burnouts on the front straightaway in celebration. Congratulations to Tyler Diefer, the winner of the 2015 Livonia 250. So Tyler Diefer gets his first career win in the Livonia 250. Justin Bazzani finishing second in that number 16 for JN Motorsports. Last year's champion Mac DiCario finishes third. Jimmy Cohone finishes fourth in the number 36 car. Solid race from him. Keith Davis recovers from that spin earlier to finish fifth. Sean Glossom in his JM Motorsports debut finishes in the 6th position. Solid race from him. Led a couple laps early on and really stayed up in the top 10 the entire race. Cody Lochner finishing 7th after being held up by the 12. He actually had a shot to win this one. Nick Black finishing 8th. Tommy Richer, solid run from him. He finishes 9th. And Ricardo Blanco rebounds and finishes 10th. And he has another strong showing at the Livonia Raceway. The highest finishing Op Inc. car. Very not what was expected from that team. But Ricardo Blanco still brings them home a top 10 in that number 08 car. And obviously the standings are exactly the same as this week's race. So we'll leave that out of this video for this one. And we'll see how the points battle shakes out and as we continue the season. Speaking of which, the next race in the 2015 AARO Racing Series season will be at the Boston International Raceway for the Ford 200. Should be a very solid race on that very quirky track, so we'll see you then at Boston.